Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ah, let me know if you can hear me. I'd appreciate it. I forgot to plug in because I actually unplugged the microphone. Figures. Typical way to start the day. If somebody can just shoot me a quick line and let me know that I'm live before I start rambling and that you can hear me, I would appreciate it. Snoops. There we go. Well, I must say, hold on, let me just move this up a little bit. And microphone should be working. Logitech. Oh, I don't think anybody's. Yeah, alright, so there. Logitech. Let's just double check everything, make sure our settings are good. Audio. Yeti. Yep. Okay, so that should be good. So, by slight miracle, I should be broadcasting okay, and you should hear me. So let me know if you do. I would really appreciate it, just so I can get going here, because I've got a lot to talk about. A lot's happened in the last week or so, and I've got a lot of things to show you, actually. So it's really pretty cool. So, oh, goodness. Did I just almost knock that out? Oh, there we go. So, one of the big things that's going on for me is I've been reunited. Well, not reunited. We've always talked over the last couple of years. And I have known Steve Lukowski, who used to own Miniature Market. He was the actual owner. Okay, we actually met at Gen Con, if I remember, and I was with the Dice Tower. That's how long ago it is. This is almost like 11, 12 years ago. And it's kind of funny that this happens on Gen Con weekend, of all things, right? Well, I was such a massive fan of All Quiet on the Martian's Front, which I felt bad because when the guy from Secret Cabal got sick, he really wanted to try it, so I sent him all my stuff and never heard from him again. I checked on him. He said he was okay, but I don't think he's ever done anything with it. He probably resold it for a fortune. I just sent it to him to try out and stuff like that. I wish I had it back, but what are you going to do? That's life. That's dealing with. This is how you learn things in this business. But a guy named Joe Pot. Oh God, I forgot Joe's last name. It was Potch, Joseph Potch, I want to say. And I don't want to do his family any disrespect because he recently passed away a few years ago from a brain tumor, which was horrible. You know, he had 2 young kids. He was a good guy, a really good-hearted guy. And he introduced me to Steve because they were running a booth at Gen Con because they had just bought the rights to All Quiet on the Martian Front. Steve and I hit it off right away. And I was just starting up my channel. I only had about 900 people. And he said, hey, you know, I'd love to work with you. I go, I love to work with you guys, you know. It's a Miniature Market. Now, this is one of the bones of contention between myself and Tom, in which, I mean, there wasn't an argument or anything like that. It's just at that time they were sponsored by Cool Stuff. And we it was a conflict of interest, especially since I was doing stuff for the Dice Tower, and one of the front bumpers was Cool Stuff. I wanted to go to Miniature Market. I thought Miniature Market was the better deal. So we had negotiated a deal, and Tom came up to me and says, "Well, go to Jerry at Cool Stuff and talk to him. I'll set it up and see what you could do with Cool Stuff. Maybe they can match or do it better." And I kind of already had my mind made up. I knew it was a huge risk to go out on my own, but Miniature Market offered more of what I did. At that time I was painting a lot. I was, doing different type of games. Really, miniature, full of miniatures. Again, if somebody can just type in and tell me that they can hear me, I appreciate it. And I went to Cool Stuff. I had a meeting with them, and I asked them one simple question. I said, what am I going to be doing for you guys? Well, we're eventually going to carry miniatures. I go, you want to pay me? You're going to pay me so much a month, but what am I going to do for you? Well, you're part of the Dice Tower. You're just going to... I said, but I'm not earning anything. I'm not doing anything. And I'm a big guy about, if you are going to pay me to do something, I am going to... Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Some principal issues. I love that name. Love the name, bro. I go, what? Now, Steve and I negotiated, if I, he made me an offer and said, we'll give you so much a month, okay? And the type of person I was, after I heard both sides, matter of fact, Cool Stuff offered me more money at the time, and I went, I think I'm going to go off on my own. And I went and I did the final convention with those guys. I forgot where I went. And I told... And where there was some friction is Jason Levine got involved. And he's nothing but a troublemaker. Always has been. He makes it seem like he's this lovable guy. But he really is the biggest snake you'll ever meet, and that's the truth. You can ask a lot of people. He is very different. I liked him, but I knew that he was talking out of bull. He lies a lot, and that he just can't help himself. But that's okay. So I decided to take a big risk, and I went to Miniature Market, and I would make videos for them. And as you see, to this day, there's still bumpers for Miniature Market. Steve and I had a great relationship, and we are ruthless businessmen. We will do whatever it takes to win. Well, not unethically, but we want to make sure that people have the best, and that we're doing things better than everybody, and that we're smarter than everybody. It becomes a thing about almost a competition where you're winning. You don't want to hurt anybody, but you want to be the best. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And we worked very, very well. I did a lot of things. And he went to his accountant, and he found out that I would not take a check. Matter of fact, that's a lie. I took the first check, and it was $250 a month to sponsor on the channel. I took the first one and then I never took another check. And the reason being is I was such a small channel, I felt I wasn't good enough to get paid. I go, let me establish myself. Let me help you. Let me do what I have to do. Now, he had hired other people, and the rates were probably higher and stuff like that to advertise. But I always felt that, it became personal. You took a chance on me, and me being able to put, the name of your company on my channel meant a lot to me. Okay, it meant he showed faith in me, and he would fly me out to miniature market. I'd do some painting. Some of you have actually been to them where we had painting events at miniature market. He paid for my hotel and my badge and I was able to get in there early because I had a vendor's badge for miniature market. He always would go out of the way. We went to a Stanley Cup game. I remember I was in town and I was doing some things for him. And he just goes one night, he goes, because St. Louis was playing the Bruins. He goes, come on. You want to go see a hockey game? I go, I love hockey. Toronto Maple Leaf fan, which he's a Buffalo fan, but he lives in St. Louis, so he loves St. Louis, and it was a big deal. And we went to the Stanley Cup, and we sat center ice. I still have pictures of it today, and I posted them before. We became very, very close and very good friends. And he's got a daughter now, and I always send her pictures and movies of the cows and stuff like that, and the animals, because she loves animals, and she's adorable. She's a wonderful, wonderful kid. But Steve and I have always remained very, very, very close. Well, as you know, the miniature market was sold to Asmodee, and when that ended, I was kind of like, oh God, and it was almost like 4 or 5 years ago. And if you noticed, things have changed at miniature market, and he went off, and of course, he starts a different business, and he's always had a love for sports cards and trading cards and stuff like that, and he always made sure I was good at miniature market with the people there, and because they easily could have forgotten me and left me behind. And to this day, I don't take checks from miniature market. I just ask them for some credit here and there, every 3 or 4 months, give me a certain amount of credit, and because I never feel that the channel's been worthy enough to do that. I rather see people win, and I don't worry about what I get. This is fun for me in a way. And to this day, 11 years later, I still have miniature market as a sponsor, thanks to Steven. Well, Steve and I consistently talk. We talk at least once a month, sometimes more than that, depending on what's going on. He always used to help me with my fantasy football team. The year that he didn't do very well, I won everything. I won 3 leagues, undefeated. I only lost 1 game. And we always had an interest with that and other things and stuff like that. And I'll never forget, oh my God, I was part of his league, and I had invested a certain amount of money, and I won a certain amount of money back. Now, he loves to go to big sports events, Super Bowls and stuff like that. So he goes to Super Bowl, and he goes, well, I'm betting on this, I'm betting on that. And I said, you know something? It was the Rams in Cincinnati. I'll never forget this. I had like $200 that he had, and he was going to send to me. I go, don't send it to me. I go, put it on, oh God, I forgot the receiver. I think he's going to get more than 6 catches. Oh God, he used to play for the Giants. This is going to drive me nuts. He made that incredible catch, and he was with St. Louis. First quarter, he's got 3 catches, and I'm like, yeah, 3 more catches, and and uh, and they were targeting him. Okay, he misses one, then he gets a 4th catch, and I go, oh my God, it's only the first half, and the second quarter just started. Okay. And all I got to do is get 2 more catches, and I'm going to win $600. I go, yes, I almost got this. Come on, come on. He runs a little slant pattern. He goes to catch the ball. His knee gives out. He blows out his knee, tears his MCL, and there goes my money. And I get a text. I get a text from the Super Bowl because he was sitting there and he's watching. He goes, wow, that's some bad luck. From the Super Bowl, right? I go, yeah. I just turned off the game at that point. I didn't even care. I was just watching for that one thing. If the Seahawks aren't in it, it doesn't mean anything. But we've always had this thing where he will do things on purpose. And I'm going to talk a little bit more. I am talking about our relationship instead of getting to the point of it, but I just want you to know the kind of friendship that we have. I love the Maple Leafs more than life themselves. Okay, them and my Seahawks are the end all be all things. Don't care about anything else. And they enter the playoffs, and of course I'm a wreck. And he will bet on the Maple Leafs. He goes, I'm going to bet on the Maple Leafs. I go, why are you betting on the Maple Leafs? Don't do that. That's bad luck for me. He goes, well, I hate them so much. If they win, at least I'll get some money out of it. And he'll send me his little sheet saying, oh, hey, I put this much on the Maple Leafs. You know, even when, oh God, and the playoffs, and it's always, every time it's a big game, I'll get one of those texts from him, and I'm like, son of a, or if it's the Seahawks or something like that, and you know, anything that kind of me a bit. But he has this tremendous new business that's been around for about 3 or 4 years, and it is trading card market. It used to be sports card market, but now they are able to do trading cards. And soon, in the next year or so, you know, the guy that you used to get all that great stuff from, well, he's going to be back, okay? And I'm telling you. I talked to him the other day, and I said, listen, you're doing trading cards now. I go, let me put it on the channel. I go, I haven't made the bumper and stuff like that, and the thing. Just get me over the art, and I'm gonna, you know, advertise on the channel. Okay, I don't expect anything in return. He goes, oh, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Because he always takes care of it. He's taken care of me over the years. You know, my grandkids love Pokemon. He sent them Pokemon cards. He didn't have to do that. You know? He knew that, you know, I love Marvel cards. He would send me a box of Marvel cards. Okay? And you know, I would pick out all the guys I want and stuff like that. And if I ever opened up anything and got a big hit or something, I would always send it back to his company so they could sell it, you know. And you know, and of course, you know, I've gotten more Maple Leafs than you can ever imagine, right? Austin Matthews, you got to have him, and you got to have your nice rookie card, right? And you know, I love my Maple Leafs, so. and the Marvel cards and stuff like that. You know, I love the old Marvel cards. So what I told him that we would do is, I go, listen, just like the old days, let's get back together and let's do some business together. Okay. Mainly, I just want to help my friend. Okay. And he is a great friend, and he has a great business. And if you go to tradingcardmarket.com, you have a choice between sports cards, if you really like sports cards, non-sports cards, and a ton of well-priced trading card games. Now, we are going to be covering a bunch of trading card games on here. Okay? So you're saying, oh, is the channel going to become a trading card thing? No, but I've already got planned 13 videos. Okay? And I think you're really going to like them. If there is a trading card game out there that you like, we are going to cover it. And send me an email if there's something that you really want to see on the channel. And, if you go over to the trading card market, because the prices are going to be better than anybody else, just like Miniature Market, okay? He runs the same type of business model. Matter of fact, some of the people that I used to work with at Miniature Market, Melissa and other people that have meant a lot to me over the years. When I was sick, they were always checking to see how I was doing. You guys remember how sick I got? I almost lost my life a few times from this whole COVID thing, but they always checked on me. It is a family type of feel, and now this business has really taken off. They don't need me. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. I want to bring you guys some things that you guys haven't seen. And of course, Steven, being as great as he is, sent me one of the very cool starters here, okay, which is the Gundam card game. I have one of the starter decks here. I told him to hold off. I mean, I would love a box to open of the regular cards, because this game is really a lot of fun. And you see these guys here? Well, we're going to talk about them, and there's going to be videos about this as I teach you how to play this game, and I really think you should get involved in it. But next year, they are coming out with a miniature game of Gundam. So you get these guys not only to just use during the card game, where you just kind of for aesthetics put the models onto your card, because each deck box is themed. And I think Steve's going to send me a couple more boosters so I can actually show you how the game's played. Because I wanted to check it out, and of course, he goes out of his way. He sends me stuff that, and this isn't a paid sponsorship. This is me helping my friend. Okay? And why am I doing that? Because I believe in what he does. I always have. And I will follow him to hell. And he knows that. We talk to business a lot. When we get together, we talk about family. We talk about life. We talk about some of the adventures that he goes through, which, dear God, that guy, has 9 lives. I don't know how. But, trading card market is personal to me, and I'm so happy to have them as a sponsor on this channel. And sponsor isn't the right word, okay? I've gotten stuff from them, and I always will. And when it comes to my trading card stuff, we're going to be taking a look at Pokemon with my grandson, because he is inhuman. So, I'm hoping that we're going to do some box openings of that. My son, if you remember Justin, is going to come back and play these games with me, because you do need 2 players to play some of these trading cards. And he was always very good at Magic. Now, Magic has changed a lot, but it's still hot. So we're going to take a look at sets, and then we'll show you how those sets work. Flesh and Blood, the new Warlord game that's coming. Vangelon is supposed to be good. The same people that did the Gundam game, I think, is going to be very, very hot. You saw me do Neuroscape here not too long ago. Okay, a game that is very successful is coming out in the fall. They are going to be carrying that. Okay, Marvel cards. When Marvel cards come out, they've got stuff. We're going to do. We're going to open up boxes of it, so you can check that out. See if it's some of your guys. Maybe we'll do some giveaways where you have a certain character that you want, or you're looking for a certain card. We'll be more than happy to send them. Okay, because I asked them to send me some top loaders, so I can mail stuff to people. So we'll do a little bit sports card to start. Okay, I think maybe 10% of it, and 90% will be more stuff that'll be geared towards you guys. Flesh and Blood is a great game. There's another game, Shadowverse, which I'm very interested in. That is a D&D type of card game. Stuff that's going to be interesting to my audience that follows board games. And I think not only will we make new fans, okay, but the people that have been here, that I always respect, will find that as we plug in more videos. Yep, that's more videos. I went down to 3. I said when we went to, when we hit 10 years, I said, you know what? I'm going to go down to 3 videos. It doesn't matter, right? So now that we ended in Primal Tuesdays, okay, which check out the little short that I do on Tuesday that I upload. We're ready to go with that, and I've got a bunch of videos that you're going to be seeing. I've already got 3 in the can that have already been uploaded for Primal, so I'm happy for that for Reggie Games, and we're going to add in box breaks. We're going to add in playthroughs. The Godzilla game, okay, which came out. It is cool as shit. Okay, we're going to be covering that here on the channel. Okay, and I'm excited about that. We're gonna, it's going to be. I'm going to make sure I cover those oddball games that you want to check, that you want to see, because those interest me. But also, there's got to be some time for some Pokemon and some Magic in there. And I'm kind of interested in some of these newer sets that they're doing. The Dungeon and Dragon stuff really fascinated me and things like that. And they do Final Fantasy, they're doing Spider-Man, they're doing Marvel Universe, and it'd be kind of neat to see. Is it the old Magic that we all remember back in 90 whatever? No, but it's still fun. Okay, and there's still a massive following for it. Pokemon, there's a massive following for it. Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a massive following for it. I want to make sure that we cover those and we give you some great options, because I know Steve was going to put something together for you guys to facilitate that, as well as the Godzillas and the Flesh and Bloods and the Warlord, which is coming. Remember that old game? Well, that's coming back, and Fantasy Flight really screwed up with Netrunner, okay, but Neuroscape, I hope I'm saying it right, really has that feel, and I think you're going to be interested in what they're doing with that. I think that is a masterpiece. I am picking out things and telling him, hey, go check some of this stuff out, like I used to. I would play games. I would go to Gen Con and I would report back, hey Steve, I think this game's going to be hot. And there were a couple of games that we had brought in. I remember when we brought in the football game, Tech No Bull, and I said, dude, you need to distribute this. and I would hook them up with Steve, and it went through a miniature market, and 100 units sold, just like that. I did things for lock and load and things like that and stuff like that. It was working with Steve to get you guys games at a great discount price where you're not searching out some of these independent people. And I helped a lot of people become mainstream. That's the part that I contribute to this business. And the part I'm most proud of is my working relationship. I plan on doing the same thing that I did for miniature market for trading card market. And, you know, in a year, at the end of this year, and I'm going to let Steve talk about it because I'm going to have him film something and we're going to put it up for you guys. And I think it's better from the horse's mouth than from my mouth, and let him talk about some of the things that he's got planned and going forward with. And I think these are the things that you guys want to hear, because I think it's the things that you need to hear, especially with the business being as wacky as it is. Don't worry, you have a stable force in the world that will be there. And you want to know the thing, you want to know what makes Steve great is he really doesn't care. He cares about board games, but he's not a guy to play them. He looks at something and goes, that looks interesting, but has no desire to play it. Okay? And the reason being, I think that's the best thing that you can ever be. If you are a fanboy and you own a business, well, you do fanboy things. Okay? And that gets you into trouble. Okay? Steve doesn't do that. Steve is a businessman, a smart businessman. And before he had Miniature Market, he had a sports card company, okay, which he sold off, started Miniature Market. Now he's back to this trading card, sports card thing, which is going to evolve again. And, you know, he's like the phoenix. He just rises and keeps rising, okay? You cannot kill this guy. Trust me, I know. And I'm looking forward to making some of these videos because some of these are fun for me. And when you can add fun into the equation, it makes a big difference. It really, really does. You know, I like to search for Maple Leafs. I like to search for Seahawks. Okay? The Seattle Mariner cards and stuff like that. But now they got that guy that hits home runs like crazy. You know, I do like the Mariners. But, you know, I'm not a big... Once Ichiro left, I kind of went... Oh, and that took... Because I play baseball so much that following it, it's not that interesting to me as much. But there are some great players and there's some great sets out there. We can take a look at the sports card end of it. The WWE stuff I like to crack open. The Marvel cards. You know how much a comic book fan I am. And, you know, we covered comic books on the channel. I decided to stop that because I'll tell you why. The reason I stopped it is I always get my comic books like 3 or 4 weeks later because of the threshold that I set at Atomic Empire. And so I'll get those later. And by the time I get them, most of you that are fans have already read them, you know, read them. So, you know, I'm showing you, oh, hey, I got Fantastic Four #1. Well, we knew about that 3 weeks ago. So it kind of... It becomes a thing where, as much as fun making that video was, it just sometimes they don't relate. So after a while, I kind of go, okay, you know what? Even I know this isn't working. And but you know, does this take away from my focus of Board games. No, no. We're adding another layer. We're adding another layer. And I think I think that's just a great thing for me, is because I do love opening those Marvel boxes. I do love opening those WWE boxes, which I still didn't get my redemption card for Cody Rhodes. I got an autographed Cody Rhodes card, and he's about to turn heel, and that card's going to go through the roof. But Pinnacle did a bad job. But all the things as far as Magic and Gundam and Pokemon, especially with my grandson, who is a Pokemon master. The kid is brilliant. I think it'd be fun to open up a box and go, okay, what does this guy do? Who is this guy? And let him explain it to you. He's 4. He'll be excited. Teach you how to play the game, because I've been making sure I know how to play all these games. So doing a lot of playthroughs. The Gundam one, oh my God, this thing is good. I just need another starter deck, and I'm off and running. I'm going to paint up the Gundams that I have, and then as soon as I get another starter deck, I'm going to show you how this game plays. And this may be one of the most fun games I've played in a long time. And I love card games. I love all kinds of card games. I'm a big card game guy. But as I see, TCGs that I think that would be interesting, I'm going to make sure that they translate very well here. Okay? And that we're making a difference. Do we want to bring in new fans? Of course we do. Okay? But there has to be balance. And, you can't forget where you came from either. And I think that will work very, very, very well. But I think adding this other element just makes this channel, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And that's the most important thing that you want to have. Again, I don't want to be an infomercial. That's not who I am. I want to bring you things that I think are fun. My God, this chair is uncomfortable today. I don't know why. Meanwhile, my dog's just laying on the bed, sleeping. Unbelievable. What a life. But, how do I, again, take a look at trading card market, okay? Great prices, okay? They offer you a 10% coupon right out of the gate, okay? So, whatever your order is, boom, use that, okay? There's going to be other things that they're going to have. Trust me when I tell you that what we're going to be doing is a lot of fun, and adding this component, for me, is something I've wanted to do. It's just, do you have the reason to? Well, now I do, because it is personal. And it always has been personal. The miniature market has always been personal because it belonged to Steve, and I always want to see his baby do well. I always do. Okay? Trading card market, I want to see it do well. Why? It is doing well because anything he touches turns to gold. But why is it doing well? Why do I want to see it do well? It's because a guy I respect and care about runs it, and I want that to be a part of this channel. Because when you want things, I want you to go to people I trust. Okay? If you have a problem, you can always come to me. I can always bring it up to them. If you're not seeing something, if the site isn't a certain way, bring it up to me. Send me an email, novaprime860@hotmail.com. There are things and feedback that people need to hear. I've done it with Miniature Market. Even now, when somebody says, "Oh, we didn't," I get a hold of Christina, or I used to get a hold of Nikki, and I go, "Hey, Nikki, they really want to see X, Y, and Z. Can that happen? Can we fix this for this person? And they always have. Okay, who's the person? Give me their email. And they've reached out and they've taken care of things. And that's happened more times than you can imagine. I can promise you that. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. So, is there a certain trading card game you want to see? Are there things that you want to see? Well, all you got to do is let me know. I'll bring it up. Hey, people are interested in this. People are interested in that. Maybe you want to see wrestling cards. Maybe you want to see Marvel cards. Maybe you want to see this, that. We'll find a way to make it work. And we'll get you involved. Not an infomercial, but helping you, like I've always said over the last God knows how many years, okay, is making sure that you aren't getting ripped off and making sure that you are investing your money in something that I believe that you will have fun with. And I've very rarely heard that, oh, this game sucks. Most of the times people do it just to kind of rattle the cage a little bit. But at this point, I'm numb. But every single time, it's like, thanks, I picked this up. This was so much fun. I had a great time with my family. I've accomplished I did what I was supposed to do. You had fun because I played it. I showed it to you. I told you why I like it, why it stays here or not. Some games I started off loving and then all of a sudden I didn't like, and I would tell you that too. You know, I think, you know, one of the best things that I could ever do is just, number one, have fun. Okay, number two, you know, help you save money. You know, make sure that your car payment's taken care of. Make sure your mortgage payment is taken care of. Not be a hype engine and put you in a position that you have to make a decision. Oh God, well, I could try to pay my rent next week. I have to get this because of fear of missing out. No. I want to find deals for you where you can do both. Pay your mortgage and have some fun. Okay? Put you know, be honest, open, and forthright, and that's what we do here. That's what I've done. That's what I've done for over 10 years now. Okay? And I will continue to do until my old ass is just too damn old to keep going. Alright? Even though I'm in the 1%, bros. Okay? Alright? I wish I had a grandpa like me. Oh, is that my son? Is that you, Jess? Yeah. You alright? Yeah. Alright, good. He's worked very hard the last week or so. My boy. He's a good boy. He learned from his father. You work hard. You work hard. Okay? It's the only way. You know, so many people try to find shortcuts. The easiest way to get there is the hardest way. Work hard. Real simple. Work hard. It's not a crazy formula. I want to open this pack, but I don't want to open it until I film it and open it. There is a special card in here. I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know if it's generic or what. I cannot wait to show you this game. I've just got to get the other starter deck. And once I get that, oh my God. This game, it's as fun as any board game. And it's actually pretty mind-blowing. You know, it's not one of those things. And I like games like this. And I can't wait to show it to you. So, I think I said a lot. Wow, 45 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. I was going to make this pretty quick, but because I wanted to make sure Steve saw it too, and I didn't want him to sit through an hour of me just running my mouth. But what do? I ran my mouth for about an hour. You know, as usual. But, my dear friends, we've got a lot. Oh. just when I thought I was out, when I was going to cut, when I was going to cut a promo. Hold on. I worked with some Gen Z. They do not have any kind of work ethic and want to be on their phones all the time. I keep reminding them, we're not paying you to be on your phones. It's very, very true. It's very, very, very true. The world got really, really, really small. Okay? And I'm gonna... How do I put this? So you see so many weird things and you wonder... Here's what I wonder. Okay? The world got small the minute we got these devices. Okay? I mean, this thing keeps track of my blood sugar, and it's a supercomputer in your hands. Okay? Plain and simple. I can find out about my YouTube channel. I can find out when my mail is coming. Okay? My blood sugar. I have a little device on me. Yeah, it's kind of high right now, but that's okay. All right, because I'm getting hyped up. They do a lot of good, but they've shrunk the world, okay? And they put people behind these devices where they can hide behind these devices. You've heard that a million times. But here's the thing. Some of the things that you see people do, and you go, why are people so crazy nowadays? And here's the question I have. Were people always this crazy? It's just we couldn't find out at the flick of a device. Would people do all kinds of stupid things and say things and be this impassioned about the stupidest things? Was that always the way? It's just the world was so much, we didn't have the way to find out, somebody wasn't taping themselves walking down the street every 5 minutes. Okay? You would hear things, yeah. I've had weird things happen in my life, where, as a kid you went, oh my God, that was horrible, something would happen, a robbery or this, that, and the other. But now the way people treat each other, the way people scream this, scream that, and it's all on tape. Everything is on tape. Everything's live, everything's streamed, everything's this. And you wonder that back in the day when we didn't have these devices, was it just the same thing, only screaming about different stuff? But the funny thing is that the world wasn't as small as it is. Has nothing changed, only we're getting to see everything from everybody. The Karens and the Chads and stuff like that, where they are always there to that extent. It's just these devices bring them to light a lot more. Something to think about. We want to blame things on generations. Yeah, every generation. Jeez, my grandfather looked at me and went, oh God, back in my day. And now I'm looking at my kids, something when I was growing up. And it becomes some of those things. Let's read that. Oh, here we go. Instead of reminding them not to do something, question them if they are completing assigned tasks, and then if they exceed expectations, challenge them with more responsibility. You can't win. That fight with negative. Okay. We had a lot less exposure in the 80s. Then it started with the boom in the 90s with more accessible internet, and things got crazy for sure once we had accessible portable internet. Very true. Cheptastic 4. Like it. I'm Gen X. I can't remember when I was young. The older generation said we were lazy also. I'm sure the generations before them said they were lazy also. It's not generational, it's individual. I kind of almost agree with that, except when you put different things in people's hands, they have a way of conforming to it. You now have these phones. Well, now people act a certain way. Back in the 90s, well, you had a computer. Remember, Doom was like, oh my God, it's satanic. In the 80s, it was metal music, oh my God, satanic and this, that, and the other, and records and are ruining our youth. Computers are ruining our youth. Phones are ruining our youth. Um, uh, Cries for freedom in the 70s are ruining our youth. Okay? There was always something. I agree with you on that point. It's just now we're getting to the extent where, it is starting to become more. Okay? And the more we use certain technologies, the less human we become, I think, to some degree. I mean, perfect example. You know, the magic gets taken out of a lot of things. Now with a simple click, you can do just about anything. And it's like that man it's like the guy that is so filthy rich. Okay, when you are filthy, filthy rich and you have everything, what's the point? What do you have to look forward to in life? And we're getting to that point. When my mom would throw us in the car and we would go to Caldor. Okay, that's an old store, or Five and Dime. It was an adventure. It was excitement. Now you can just whatever you want, order it through Amazon. It's on your front door. Convenience, yes. Time saving, yes. A lot of good things to it. But the magic's gone. You know, you can find out when something's coming out all the time. I remember going to Mammoth Market when I was a kid, and I walked in the toy aisle and I saw something. I didn't even know it was coming out. I went, oh my God, I've got to have that. Those catalogs you would look through, okay? And Circle at Christmas when we were kids. Comic books. Oh my God, sitting and reading comic books. I mean, I still read them to today, but people told stories back then, not rehashed garbage that doesn't make any sense, so they could maybe make a movie out of it. All right? We've lost our imagination in a lot of ways, okay, as a people, whether it's the prior generation, this generation, or the next. We have AI making stories for us. And they're better than what people can make up because people have lost vision. Or there's been so many things told, so many songs sung. How much more can you do? Eventually it runs out. We push ourselves to, the Charlie Chaplin thing. I've watched that a lot lately, and if you have a chance, go watch that because it's very relevant. You know, we need to love ourselves, but also love our fellow man. Just watch it. I won't go into it, but it speaks about how inventions, even though they're talking about the airplane and the radio at the time, how they've made us soulless. I think we become soulless to some degree, okay? Because of these great inventions when they can do so much good. And, you know, like I was going to say, like with comic books, people told stories. Um, Movies are just special effects nightmares now. That don't tell stories anymore. We don't tell stories. We don't test our imagination. We don't test our resolve as people. Okay, and it is The Little Dictator. Yeah, check that out. And Charlie Chaplin's fantastic speech. It's very moving. That and I think in some ways we our egos. Carl Sagan, Pale Blue Dot. I always think is really amazing when you think about what we do here on Earth. Okay, that we will sacrifice, kill, and crush, and dictate for a small little stamp on this little blue dot. You know, for what? This is the only home we'll ever have and ever know. Oh, the Great Dictator. I'm sorry. Yeah, but you know they used to call it the Little Dictator because he was so small, because it was Charlie Chaplin. Brilliant, brilliant man. Um, all these things we don't open our minds sometimes. We really don't, and I think we need to. Okay, that's why I think so many board games, because I'm, as much as I love video games and stuff like that, I like to test my mind. I like to do different things, and even now, they're running out of games and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, it's amazing. But something always comes along, as long as people can think and do. Um, we used to go out and we used to do things. And we used to do things with each other. And when we disagreed with each other, we figured it out, or we just went our separate ways. Most of the times we would argue and figure it out, or, there were sports, there were all kinds of different things that we would do, fishing and getting outside and things like that and stuff like that. And, there has to be balance. And I think we forget that. We go outside, but the whole time we're looking at these. Yeah. The last couple of generations are unfamiliar with Aesop's fables, and I think that's why people are losing morality. I don't disagree with that. I think people, you think you're going to live forever, but you don't. It comes up quick. I'm on the back nine myself, and I look and I think of all the wasted years doing this, doing that, doing this. And, these last 10, 11 years that I've been doing this, I think I put my heart and soul into it. And for me, I think I've helped a lot of people. And that makes me feel good. I've shown a lot of people things. I've helped people monetarily. We've done a lot of auctions that we raised for auction for helping charities and things like that, and a lot of you that needed help with car payments and things like that. We always try to do our best when the channel is rolling, and it's so easy to give up, but I won't. I think we have a lot to say and a lot to do. And things like this on Sundays, I think they work really well for all of us. And people that see this later as well. All right. Me and my pup, we're going to go. What are we going to do today? Well, we got to take Mommy to the flea market so we can get vegetables. Florida vegetables. Cheap. And we'll take her for breakfast. What do you think of that? Did you eat breakfast? No, you come out. She will not eat unless I go with her. So, a lot of great news. The channel, I couldn't be happier now. And working with one of my closest friends, and I've got to work on the bumpers, and you'll see changes as we talk more about trading card market, and it's just exciting to be helping a friend who I love dearly. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. It gives the channel even more purpose. I love working with Miniature Market, keeping that legacy going. Just a lot of great things that we have going forward. The last couple of generations were raised by Generation X and older. Whose fault is it if a lesson isn't taught? We made the cell phones and invented the participation trophies, but we also did a lot of good. Nobody said that. I'm sad as a Generation Xer. We allowed participation trophies. Okay, so I'm going to stay just a second more just to tell you what I did. It depends. You said it before. Okay? It depends on the individual. Okay? My kids never got participation trophies. Okay? I used to wrestle my son all the time. Never let him win. Okay? Never. Never. Why? If you're going to win, you got to beat me. We would play board games. Never let him win. All right, this is a small kid. I'd back off a little bit and make it close. When he would play me in video games or something, or whatever it was, he would beat the crap out of me. And he wouldn't let off the gas. That's good. I'll never forget this. And this is a very true story. We were out in the backyard. And we were playing wiffle ball. And he was learning how to play baseball. And I was throwing the ball as hard as I could. And I'm pretty damn good. Okay? Why? Wasn't going to let him win. He had to earn it. He would tip it, follow it. I would talk to him, make adjustments in his swing, this, that, and the other. One time I whipped one in there. I mean, it was probably the best pitch I'd thrown in a long time. He turned around and cranked that thing. I mean, cranked it. You know, he remembers that moment. Why? Because that moment meant something. Because he did it himself. It wasn't given to him. Okay? He earned it. Okay? Everything in his life he had to earn. It wasn't given to him. Now, is that me? Okay? Because, you know, I was born in the 60s. Okay? I'm part of that. Well, no, not really. Well, yeah, because I was around during the participation trophy thing. But that wasn't me. When I played Little League, I remember as a kid, it was the most heartbreaking thing in the world. Never played baseball in my life, and I found out I was really good at it because I played with some kids in the street asked me to play. So my parents signed me up for Little League. First year in Little League. In the first round, we lost all our games. Okay? Have a good day, Chaptastic 4. We lost all our games. Second part of the season, we won every single game, so we got into a playoff with this team. Okay? The team that won, you know, all the games, and they only lost one game all year. And we were playing in the championship. Winner take all. We lost 6-0. And I sat there and I cried. And I never forgot that feeling of losing. Okay? Now you think, oh, God, you know, you don't want to hurt. That scarred you. This, that, no, made me tougher. Because the next time that I had a chance at a championship, I made sure. I did everything I could that we made sure that we won. Okay? And I never lost anything, you know, any kind of championships or anything since that day. Okay? I made sure I won. Was I fair about it? If I lost, you know, if I lose something, you know, it's not the end of my life. Okay? But I'm going to give everything I can to win. I mean, I'm not going to be a kook. You know, we play racquetball every week. It's rec ball, okay? I win some, I lose some, I don't care. You got people in there that get so mad and they start throwing their racket and stuff like that. For what? Oh, by the way, I got a brand new racket I got at Goodwill for $5. I just got to have the handle fit. There's a guy that restrings them. It's $200 racket for $500. Nice. Got to bring that with me tomorrow. But I love playing because I love the exercise. I love the competition. But I don't take it to the point where, oh my God, if I don't win, it's the worst day ever. I just want to play well, have fun at this age. There's time for fun, and there's time to make sure you win. You know? I think that's the best thing you do. Just, if you give it away and you make winning easy, it doesn't mean anything. It's as simple as that. All right, enough of this stuff. I've got a lot to do. I love you all, okay? I hope you all have a great Sunday. We will be back next week. And I'm sure I'm going to have more news about this as we start getting stuff in. And we'll be seeing videos and things. And if you want to see certain things, let me know. NovaPrime860@hotmail.com. What type of games you want to see? Maybe you want to see some Flesh and Blood. Maybe you want to see the Shadowverse, or some other really cool games that are coming out, or Warlord, Gundam. Let me know what you want to see, and we will make sure that we show it here, and support, of course, Miniature Market and Trading Card Market. We are going to have a really lot of fun going forward, and the rest great rest of the year. So there you have it, from your old pal Rob. Until next time, we'll see you soon, everybody. This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.